Forged from Iron is proud to support Iron Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham United fans and friends inspired by the work of other football fan food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations from NEWWHU Food Bank in Beckton, who supply 7 distribution centres in the borough, 7 days a week, and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the NEWWHU community. They are supported in their efforts by West Ham United Football Club, the WHU Foundation, LS185, London Legacy Development Corporation, NEWWHU Council, the Met Police, Spire London East Hospital, Expedient Security, and a large number of West Ham and football fans. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page. You will find the link to this in the description section of the video details in this stream. Thank you for your support. Come on, you Irons.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Forged from Iron. And just to get this little bit out of the way, because I always do it, my little bit of, rattling the tin, trying to get you guys to like the stream, comment on it, share it to your socials, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, all of that good stuff. You'll probably notice a couple of things that are a little bit different today about this match review, of the game that took place at St. James's Park yesterday, where we got a point. Very creditable point. 2 things. Obviously, Duke's not here, as you can see. So the plan is that Duke is going to do his version of events later this afternoon. Basically, we couldn't sync our diaries. You'll probably also notice that my surroundings are a little bit different as well. I'm in a Holiday Inn hotel in Newcastle. I was very lucky enough to be able to go to the game. I managed to get lucky in the ballot. I might have said this on previous streams and all the rest of it. I got lucky in the ballot and I managed to get 4 tickets. And with those tickets, I took 2 of my 3 children. Unfortunately, one of them couldn't be there, which was took a little bit of the shine off of it. It would have been better if I could have had all 3, but it was a good time anyway. So we made the journey up. It was long old drive. I left at about 4:30 yesterday morning because I wanted to get to Newcastle City well ahead of time. I wanted to have a little bit of a stretch of my legs around, have a look at the city. I've never been to the city of Newcastle before. So even despite the fact I stopped twice, once was literally just a quick do what you got to do, call the nature, ran about halfway. And then the second time was about an hour from the city of Newcastle. I had to stop because I was doing the old nodding dog impression. So stopped off, had a cup of coffee, McMuffin, carried on, and got to Newcastle about 9:30. Thought I did good time. So got into the hotel. Check-in time was 3 o'clock. I stuck my head in around about 1:30. Is the room ready? They went, yep, fine. Handed over the keys and whatever. It's actually a card, slot it in and away you go. And then went onto the game. Now, first impressions. For any of you guys that have never been to St. James's Park, until yesterday, I never had. I'd only ever seen it on the telly. Up close and personal, what an impressive stadium. From the outside looking at this magnificent arena of football, that is a football stadium. That is what a football stadium should look like. Now, when it was inside, it was, just as impressive inside out. For any of you that have never been as well, the away fans are right up at the back. They're up in the gods. I mean, in order for the away fans to make any sort of atmosphere, they have to really sort of sing at the top of their voices. And I thought the support was fantastic. Obviously, I was amongst it. I don't know for any of you guys that were watching on the telly how that transferred across, whether you guys got the support there was very vociferous, very loud from the West Ham fans that made the journey up to St James's yesterday. It was good support, good support. However, let's now turn our attention to the game. Within the first 40 seconds, the ball was in the back of our net. It was cut back. Joe Willock got to the end of the cutback, put the ball past Fabianski. 50,000 Geordies jumped into the air, singing, bellowing, cheering. And the fans that have made the journey up from the East End, Essex, and various other corners of the country, and indeed the globe, we're all sort of looking at each other going, oh, here we go again. Well, VAR obviously got involved. And to be honest, when it happened, as the ball sort of like was cut back, even from my vantage point, and obviously I was at the other end of the pitch, I sort of looked and thought, that I'm sure that's out. I'm sure that's out. VAR have got to look at that, haven't they? It's in the direct build up to the goal. VAR looked at it. They looked at it. They come back. No goal. Great, fantastic. But from the restart, you sort of sit there and you think, we've had a little bit of a warning there. We've had a shot across our bows, and surely we need to tighten up. We need to wake up and go again. Lo and behold, from the restart, Newcastle score. This time it was allowed. And who's it that scored it? Well, you know who scored it. And even if you didn't know, you probably know in your heart of hearts it was going to be Callum Wilson. He always bloody scores against us. He could play for us. He could play against us for the raggedy ass Rovers, and he'd still find a way to score. He just loves scoring against us. I think it's 10 goals now he's got against us for Bournemouth, for Newcastle United now. The guy just loves scoring against us. He must look and be rubbing his hands every time we're in town. So everybody around us was absolutely spewing. How can we concede a goal, have that chalked off by VAR, and then from the restart of that play, we concede another goal? We was all just looking and going, Christ's sake. And there was obviously murmurings of, Moyes needs to go, this, that, and the other. We weathered the storm. I thought we showed a great deal of character from that point on. I thought we showed a great deal of resilience. I thought that we showed all of the characteristics that we're going to need to display in what remains of the Premier League if we're going to try and drag ourselves out of the situation that we're in. And let's make no mistake, we're still in a relegation battle. Yesterday was a great point, great outcome, but we're still in a relegation battle. We need to show more of that desire, determination in what remains of the Premier League if we're going to pull ourselves out of it. This was a good start. This was a Newcastle team that until yesterday had only conceded 11 goals in the Premier League. They'd only lost one game in the Premier League. They're in front of their fans. This was, and we're 1-0 down. So we needed to roll our sleeves up. We needed not just Declan Rice as the captain to be our leader, our figurehead. I was having this conversation with my kids a little bit earlier at breakfast. You don't just have one leader in a dressing room. Yes, you've got the figurehead, you've got the guy with the armband, but they need to have people around them that are strong voices, both in the dressing room and on the pitch. And I thought we had that. And we started to make a bit of a sort of inroads into them. Now, I know people will turn around and say the possession was 37%. I know people are going to turn around and say we only had one shot on goal. But honestly, the determination and the desire, and I don't know how much this would have come across from your vantage point if you was watching it on the Goggle Box, or indeed you've seen the highlights. But there was a lot of hard work and endeavour there. It was very reminiscent, and I don't know about you guys, and I'll look at the comments in a minute, so you just crack on with that. I'm doing this on my phone, so I'm not on my home PC, so this is going to be a little bit different. It's a little bit more clunky. It's not going to be as smooth as it normally is. Ha ha. But we started to sort of make inroads. We were sort of digging in and got to around about half an hour, and we had this period of sort of play where we were starting to test them in certain areas of the pitch, really make them work hard. We get a corner, and I've got to be honest with you. When I looked down and in front of me, it was right in front of me where the corner was taken, but I'm obviously miles up in the air. And I'm looking down, and I'm like, who's that taking the corner? I could see the number on the back, 41. And I'm like, why is Declan Rice taking the corner? And the guy that was sat to my right, a guy called Graham, funnily enough, he's a West Ham fan from Middlesbrough. And we had a chat, and I asked him, I said, what's the story with you? I mean, you're obviously not from the East End of London. Why are you a West Ham fan? And he turned around and said it was because of Trevor Brooking in 1980. The rest was history. So, okay, fine, no problem. Well, anyway, I turned around and I said, why is Declan taking the corner? And he just turned around and said, listen, this is the period. He says, if goal's going to come, this is where it's got to come. Well, lo and behold, he delivers this corner in. Now, I think we can all agree that this season our set pieces, our corner routines have been poor, by and large. They have been poor. An awful lot of the time, the corners have not been beating the first man. Well, this one did. This one beat the first man, and it got into an area of the box where we really put them under a pressure. And from the resultant pressure, Lucas Paqueta puts the ball past Nick Pope for his first goal in English football. He wheels away, he does the somersault. I'm sure you've seen the celebration. We went absolutely nuts in the stand, went absolutely potty. Limbs flying everywhere and all the rest of it. 1-1. And it was a well-deserved equaliser. Like I say, we worked bloody hard. We dug in, we fought, we were resolute, and we took our opportunity. I got to be honest, it got to the end of the first half. I actually think we could have been 2-1 up. It was in about the 41st. I think it might be in stoppage time at the end of the first half. And Aguerd had an opportunity. Now, he didn't score, but from where I was, like I say, and bear in mind, I'm up in the gods. I'm at a really steep angle. And I haven't seen it on the replay. I have to say that I thought that the highlights that I saw last night on the match of the day did leave a bit to be desired. But I thought that was an opportunity. That, listen, if we could have gone in 2-1 at that point, my goodness, that changes the whole dynamic of things. But anyway, so we come out, and as expected, Newcastle had a lot of the ball, but they didn't really, in a lot of, for the second half, I don't think they really did enough with it. I mean, again, if you look at the stats, I'm not a believer that possession in and of itself is the be-all and the end-all. Possession is all very well and good, but if you don't do enough with it in the final third of the pitch, then to be honest, all that possession was completely worthless. You've got 80% of the possession, but of that 80% of the possession, most of it was in front of your goalkeeper, and you're sort of going left to right, and you're going forward a little bit, back a little bit, and not getting shots away, not creating chances, not putting the opposition defence under scrutiny. Then to be honest with you, possession is just a completely redundant statistic. And I did feel that Newcastle were quite... they didn't really make the most of their opportunities. And I actually had a look, and they've drawn more games in the Premier League than any other team this season. They dropped a lot of points. And actually, they've started to stutter in front of goal just at the right time for us to rock into town and take advantage of that. But that being said, and this is the bit that I think most people watching the game would really sort of look at and go, that was a key moment. And not only was it a key moment of the match, in my opinion, this could be a pivotal moment in what remains of our Premier League season. Because there was an opportunity, I think it was around about the 76th minute, where the ball was played through, and there was an opportunity. And I'll be honest, when the ball fell to Callum Wilson and he's herring through on Lucas Fabianski's goal, I'm sitting there from my vantage point, and I'm just like, this is in. This is in. He's torn past the back line. He's left them for dead. He's through on goal. We know what his record is like against West Ham. This is going to come. We're going to get done. Out of nowhere, honestly, the acceleration from Aguerd from nowhere. He ate up the ground. I mean, Callum Wilson, I'm not saying that he's Thierry Henry quick or anything like that, but he's quick enough. He's quick enough. But Naya Aguerd absolutely ate up that ground. He tore away. He made up that ground. Now, he had to get that challenge absolutely correct. He had to get that challenge absolutely spot on, because if he doesn't, that is a penalty. That is a penalty, and that is very probably the game gone with about 14 minutes left. He gets a challenge in. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Now, I'm not making a comparison between Naya Aguerd and the player that I'm about to name, but I will say it was, in terms of the timing of the challenge, and it had to be absolutely spot on. It was very, very reminiscent of Bobby Moore in the 1970 World Cup group stage match against Brazil. Just again, timing, bang, getting the tackle in at the right moment was absolutely crucial. And it reminded me, and as I say, it could be a challenge that in what remained of the game, and not just that, but in the wider context, in terms of what this could mean for the remainder of our Premier League season, could be a really, really pivotal moment. It reminded me, I was at Stamford Bridge about 9 years ago, and this was under the Allardyce regime, and we were struggling in the Premier League, and we went to Stamford Bridge. And if you guys remember this was the game where Jose Mourinho, who was the Chelsea manager at the time, accused West Ham of playing 18th century football. We got a 0-0 draw. Adrian had an absolute blinder of a game. And off of the back of that individual performance, off of the back of that team result, when people didn't expect us to get it, and let's be completely honest, nobody expected us to get a point yesterday. Probably even, I'll put my hands up. Did I expect us to get a point? No. Especially at 1-0 down, when we've had one goal chalked off for VAR, and then seconds later, after it's been chalked off, we're conceding another goal. I'm just like, listen, this is not going to be our day. But bloody hell, I mean, honestly, the characteristics that team showed yesterday to really dig in was superb. And like I say, that challenge from Naya Aguerd not only saved us the point, didn't just preserve the point, which means that we've now moved to 16th in the Premier League. Let's make no mistake, we needed to get something yesterday. You look at the results that came in when Wolves getting who saw 3-0? Who saw a 3-0 victory for Wolves coming against Liverpool? I'm not saying this has been a great season for Liverpool, it hasn't. But that was sort of like out of nowhere. And of course, who scored the second goal? Craig Dawson. I mean, wouldn't you know it? Leicester beating, was it Villa 4-2 from 2-0 down, 2-1 down, whatever it was. So we needed to go to St. James's Park. The pressure was on. We needed to get something by hook, by crook. It didn't matter how it come. And I've got to say, it seems to me, and I'd be very interested to know what you think. And again, I'll come to the comments in a moment. I'm just articulating my point. I thought it was very reminiscent of the West Ham performances under David Moyes that we put in last season and the season before, by and large. It seems to me, and I may be wrong, and I know that it's only a small sample size. I'm looking at this match. Disregard the Derby match. I don't think you can really make too much of a judgment against a team that's 2 tiers down from you in the pecking order. But the Everton game, I do see that the performances are more akin to what we were putting out last season and the season before. Yet we're quite happy to let the opposition have the lion's share of possession. We're quite happy to say to them, do you know what? We'll let you have it. You can have it there, but when you get to a sort of like about the midway point in your half and sort of like a little bit beyond, we're going to be on you. We're going to be engaging you. We're going to be putting you under pressure. We're going to be forcing you to make errors. And when we get the ball, we're going to break at pace, with accuracy, and we're going to get a decent amount of shots away. And as I say, you look, 37% possession. All right, only one shot on goal. Well, they only had one more than that. and we had 2 shots more than them. We had 10 shots to their 8. So you tell me who was the better team in that respect? Well, I would say that with what possession we had, to carve out 10 shots, and they had 8 shots with basically double the possession. For me, that was a fantastic performance. We needed to get something yesterday. We got it. We come away, and as I say, 16th in the Premier League. Look, we're not where we should be. Let's make no bones about this. Should this team, who finished 6th, 7th, got a European semi-final and spent 180 million quid in the summer transfer window, should we be in 16th place? No, we shouldn't. Should David Moyes be the manager? I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think he should have gone after Leicester. I think that a new man should have come in at someone else with a fresh voice, a fresh perspective on things that could have got the players that we had at that moment in time, galvanise them and get them playing a style of football that suited the players. David Moyes was trying to get them to play a more possession type football, and it wasn't working. It didn't suit the players that he had. And it seems to me that David Moyes has now looked at it and gone, whether he's spoken to the players and whether he's said, look, what's going on here? And they turned around to him and gone, do you know what, boss? We need to get back to basics. We need to get back to what we did before that worked us and served us so well. And you want to sort of play this slightly different, slightly more expansive style of football, but it isn't working. It's not making the best of us, and it sure as hell isn't getting results. And maybe he sort of thought, you know what, maybe we need to go backwards to go forwards. And I've got no problem with that. Absolutely no problem. Great result. Fantastic performance from the lads. As I say, I can only say from what I was watching, there might be people out there, and as I say, I haven't looked at the comments yet. You might disagree with me, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm not saying that anyone else is wrong. This is just my opinion as someone that was in the ground. I think that we are starting to look more like the team that we were in the previous 2 seasons. And do you know what? I look at the game that we've got against Chelsea, which is a 12:30 kickoff Saturday next week. They're not pulling up any trees. If we can get a win, especially if we can nick 3 points, and that's not beyond the realms of possibility. This is not a classic Chelsea team. This is not a Chelsea that are firing on all cylinders. If we can get something against them, and God forbid a win, wow, that would become at just the right time, just to sort of, then we go into the game against Tottenham, and again, Tottenham can blow hot and cold. So, look, it's perfectly conceivable we could go and get 3 points off of Chelsea next season, next week. And who knows, maybe we could grind out a draw against Tottenham. Perfectly possible. It's also perfectly possible we could lose both games if we don't set up correctly. But that's all to come. This was a fantastic performance. As I say, I come up here with 2 of my 3 kids. It's been a really good weekend. I've had a whale of a time. It would have been quite nice to have all 3 of my kids with me. As a father, it's not something that I take for granted, my time with my kids. But anyway, so that's that. I'm going to have a little look at the comments. Forgive me because I've been rattling on. As I say, it's all going to be a little bit different today because I haven't got my sparring partner with me. Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm doing well. I'm just going to rattle through these comments quickly. If you're there, if you want to get your comments in there, I'll get to as many of them as I can. I'm probably going to have this wrapped up in about the next 5 minutes, though. Said on TV, West Ham hadn't conceded from 100 corners now. Really? I didn't know that. We had only 1 shot on target. Newcastle had only 2. Don't always tell us the real story of the game. Exactly, Daniela. Exactly right. Hello, sweetheart. Hope you're well. We'll be home soon. Although we're going to have to make a little detour because you know who is wanting to see a couple of little puppies that we might be in. Well, we'll be in possession of 1 of them soon, maybe 2, but we'll see. Yeah, possession is a very nice thing. You'd rather have the ball, but it's all about what you do with it. How Callum Wilson missed that header in the second half, it's good he missed. Absolutely, mate. Sometimes you need a slice of luck. Let's be honest about it. No team, goes through a match, goes through a season where they don't have moments where they need that little slice of luck. Hey, Ken, that was a world-class tackle. Absolutely. Like I say, the recovery pace, as I say, he was well out of the picture. When the ball fell at Callum Wilson's feet, he's well out of the picture. He shouldn't be anywhere near the geezer when he pulls the trigger. But he is, and he manages to get the challenge absolutely, just the timing, the accuracy of the challenge, superb. We can keep him fit for the remainder of the season. We're going to be very, very strong at the back. He is going to be an absolutely key part. Chelsea are all over the place. No, exactly what I said. We're playing them at a good moment, and we've got to try and take advantage of it. Hopefully we can do them now. Let the women beat Arsenal. Yeah, good luck with that, mate. And yes, 18th century football. I was there. I'm guessing you possibly might have been. And as I say, that was a result that was I mean, listen, it wasn't a classic. It wasn't a game that would get you at the edge of your seat. But at the time, we needed to get something. That performance from Adrian was absolutely critical. And like I say, I look at that challenge, and let's not make any mistake. It wasn't just the challenge, but that was obviously a critical moment. Naya Fagur's performance yesterday. Declan Rice's performance. Let's just give him a mention as well while I think about it. Declan Rice yesterday, 1-0 down. He's demanding his team, come on, step it up. We're better than this. And he drove that team on. Like I say, he put the corner in for the goal. And he was putting in challenges. He was recovering the ball. He was driving forward. He was spraying passes here, there, and everywhere. Superb performance from the captain, really was. Anton, hope you are well, my friend. And he's just saying hello to everybody else. Joe says the tackle was the best that you've ever seen. Well, it's up there, I've got to say. It absolutely was. Trip up north, yeah, it was a long old drive, mate. And the steps. Well, as someone that's as far back as I am in the London Stadium, there's nothing that's behind me that's still in the stadium. Not something I wasn't used to. So, yeah, me too. And hopefully, more importantly, hopefully it's given the players a little bit of belief. It's given them a little bit of confidence. So, Anton says it's a weird 180, Joe, and a draw, and I feel positive. Yes, I mean, look, let's make no mistake. This is a very good Newcastle United team. They're up in the upper echelons of the Premier League. They've lost one Premier League game all season. They're in a Wembley final. They're absolutely buoyant. And like I say, their stadium is absolutely amazing. The support before the game, sort of like, I loved all the noise, the flags being waved. That's support. That's proper support. Good luck to Newcastle. It's a fantastic city, a fantastic football club. Leicester v Bournemouth. Leicester v Bournemouth, not Villa. Fair enough. My mic is playing up. Okay, well, fair enough. Well, we'll see how we go. I'm going to be disappearing in a minute anyway, so you won't have to put up with me for too much longer. Just going to go through your comments. Yeah, the endeavour yesterday, like I say, the work rate, it was more like what we've done the previous two seasons. You mentioned Everton, and Everton have, in that game yesterday against Arsenal, where they won 1-0, their running stats were cumulatively 3 kilometres more than the next highest team in the Premier League this season. Just goes to show you, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. That's the old saying. We're not given a chance in hell of getting anything from anyone in the media. No, that's absolutely right. So if we wait, we'll get Klopp. I'm not sure I want him, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't know. I don't think he's what we need at this particular moment in time. I mean, what experience does Jurgen Klopp have of negotiating a Premier League relegation battle? I mean, the one thing I will say about David Moyes, and I'm a critic of his, especially recently, but he has been involved in relegation battles before, twice with us, and with Sunderland as well, and a couple of times with Everton. So he knows how to negotiate a relegation battle. I'm not sure Klopp would. How we're from minute 10 to minute 80. That we won most of the second balls. Our turnover was fantastic. That is absolutely spot on, Anton. Not a Moyes in or out. He's our manager. We have to get behind him in the squad now till the end of the season. Exactly right. You know, whatever your thoughts are on Moyes in or out, let's be honest. You want the team to win. I do. I don't ever want the team to lose. And I have heard people saying, and look, I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying I don't agree. This is not the way I think. I think that I always want the team to do well. And if, as a byproduct of that, the manager gets a stay of execution till the next game, so be it. It is what it is. Just want to rattle through. Yeah, the Aguerd header, I did mention that earlier. Like I say, from my point of view, I went up. I thought I haven't seen it latterly, so I don't know how close it was in reality. But from that angle, looking down, it looked closer. And if we could have got that, who knows? Boys have started playing Paqueta in his best position. He had a great game yesterday. I thought he run out of puff towards the end, and obviously he was brought off, but I thought he had a really good game yesterday. Just playing that little bit deeper, he's getting a bit more time on the ball. Playing further up as a 10, that wasn't his bag. So playing him a little bit deeper, sort of like just in front of the defensive mid, but behind the attacking midfielders, it's giving him a little bit more time on the ball to really pick his passes and really hurt the opposition. Antonio's been giving social media a bit of a miss with some of the toxicity over the manager issue. Yeah, fair enough. Everton look like they will stay up under Aguerd, so he needs to get out of the relegation battle. Listen, it was a great start for Sean Dyche and Everton. It's one game. That'll give him a massive boost in confidence, like the point yesterday will give us a massive boost in confidence. There's a lot of football to be played. There is an awful lot of football to be played. So we'll wait and see. I do think both Everton and us have enough. I'm not going to bother with ratings, mate. What I will say is I thought Fabianski, there was a couple of claims that he had to make. His distribution was poor, but I think that in terms of his general command, his shot stopping when he was called upon, which wasn't terribly often, but there was one in the second half where there was a cross from their right, our left, that was put into the danger zone, around about the 6-yard box, and he came and took it like he leapt like a salmon, got both hands to it, strong hand, claimed it. I thought Ben Johnson, looked a lot better at right-sided centre-back than Thilo Kehrer did. I thought he looked a bit shaky. Everybody else I thought was superb. Everybody else I thought really put their shoulder to the wheel and contributed to the effort of the team getting the result that they got. So ratings, other than Kehrer, with all due respect, who I don't know what's happened with him, because he's a German international regular. He came in, and his performances have gone backwards for whatever reason. You could possibly blame David Moyes for that in part, but yeah, we'll see. Downs looked so keen to get on even for 5 minutes. Yeah, I'd like to see a bit more of this kid. Thank you very much, Daniela. Do appreciate your help. What's your Coding to Sons channel name? Is it Joe Wheeler, isn't it? I think Cyber from memory, Joe Wheeler. That's basically, for anybody that's not sure what that's all about. It was Duke's son's got a YouTube channel, so he was just trying to get. Listen, Duke will be on hopefully this afternoon, so he'll be able to sort of go into a bit more. Yeah, he went off with a hamstring pull. He did, and listen, I'm not wishing the guy any ill will, but personally, if it was a choice between, if we're going to persist with 3 central defenders, which I suspect that David Moyes will for the remainder of the season, I think that. How you doing, James? Hope you're well. I think he will for what remains of this season. Personally, I'd rather have, if it was a choice between Thilo Kehrer there or Ben Johnson there, Ben Johnson all day long and twice on a Sunday. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up there, ladies and gentlemen, because I've got to have it on my toes. Thanks for joining me. I'm just going to find that's the banner that I want. And just implore you, before you disappear, to don't forget to drop a like on the stream, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and hit the bell icon for alerts on new content. And as I say, guys, this has been a little bit of a different one for obvious reasons. As I say, Duke and I couldn't sync our diaries. It is what it is. But thanks for joining me. Duke will hopefully be able to give you his perspective on things, and it might be completely different to mine. Duke and I, at this point, have not spoken about the match, what we think of it. I've come across, I hope I've been quite positive. I hope I've been quite realistic. He might have a different point of view as someone that was many miles away watching it on the telly. He might turn around to you and have a different point of view. Be interesting to see, as I say. So something a little bit different for you to get your teeth into. So please do, when Duke goes live, please don't forget to drop it onto the stream. Give him a like as well. And thanks for your time. Don't forget to support the Iron Supporting Food Bank charity. Come on, you Irons. I've now got to get behind the wheel for around about a 300 odd mile round trip home down to sunny Kent. Look after yourselves, guys.
Forged from Iron is proud to support Iron Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham United fans and friends inspired by the work of other football fan food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations from NEWWHU Food Bank in Beckton, who supply 7 distribution centres in the borough, 7 days a week, and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the NEWWHU community. They are supported in their efforts by West Ham United Football Club, the WHU Foundation, LS185, London Legacy Development Corporation, NEWWHU Council, the Met Police, Spire London East Hospital, Expedient Security, and a large number of West Ham and football fans. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page. You will find the link to this in the description section of the video details in this stream. Thank you for your support. Come on, you Irons.
Wasn't